is also reflection, right?
Correct.
So it's not always good to just celebrate the good,
No.
but it's an important milestone to stop and think about what we've achieved and you know where we're lacking. Just to go back, when you mentioned that Ghana has a very young population, Reverend Shundaku, to just address this question to you, as an elder in our community, what do you think are ways in which the politicians in Ghana can galvanize the youth or encourage the youth to become more involved or to make it more attractive to, you know, want to fix the country, be involved?
Or even an access way, you know, as opposed to just saying get involved, but get involved to a certain point. We'll take the decision further. And I think for me, not to answer your question, it's still back at you.
Yeah.
But for me, it's got to do with that mindset to say, let's open up the pathway to the people. Not to say, oh, you have your idea, but mom and dad are going to take the baton on from. How do we get the mentality of the old to be shifted to include the young?
It's a very difficult question. I don't know how to answer it, and I don't have an absolute answer for you. But let me put it into this context. If you look at most of the political leaders that were in prison for fighting for liberation, they were very young.
Right.
So what stopped the young one also doing the same thing? Right. We can't, you see, there are times where elders will say, when we are talking, you're a child, don't talk.
Yes.
Right. Those are the things that we can challenge. Right. If culture or traditions don't evolve, they will die. So the young ones should be able to reinvent the culture. We don't lose the value of it. We don't lose the importance of traditions and our culture, but we have to reinvent it in terms of the new world order.
The current circumstances.
Yeah, because we are becoming a global village. And my child can go and marry an American, or can go and marry an Australian, or something like that. And they find certain cultures so strange. As Yao was saying, the sister got married, but there are certain practices. He said, can't we just get on with it and not do these things, right? And I had the same problem when my first wife died. I went through the same thing, and I said, are we crazy wasting money like this? And for me, it is how we look at the irrelevance of certain things and convert it in a manner that we don't still lose the essence of it, but we, should I say, modernize it. And that will appeal to so many Africa. I mean, it's not only Ghanaians going through that. In South Africa here we have the same problem, that young men have to go to the mountains after a certain age. Now they're questioning, why should it be like that? Can't we do it earlier or do it in another way, fulfill the same purpose?
Exactly.
Right. So it is not sticking to the traditions of 100 years ago, because those days we didn't fly. These days we have fast trains and what have you, right? And therefore we need to let the culture, our traditions to evolve so that it can embrace diversity, whilst we include everybody in it. We don't alienate anyone. So that is how I'll be able to answer your question. I hope I've answered it.
Yes.
And actually, I mean, I want to add to that as well. So my grandmother passed away a couple of years ago, and it was good. I was glad that I went because it was a great ceremony to be part of. But the thing took 4 or 5 days. 4 or 5 days, and most of the time we're sitting there. Nothing's going on. We're just sitting. Just sitting.
It's actually
it's a beautiful
very interesting
thing.
Conversation, because I've had the same with my parents and my in-laws as well. Some of the traditions in Ghana
I
do
can
need to
add to
change.
what Yao was saying. Being an Anglican and a priest, and having worked within the circles of the late Desmond Tutu, I was part of the first people who carried the coffin to the church.
Oh, wow.
Right. Now, how many days did he spend for that man to be buried?
2.
We took him Friday, and then Saturday everything was done.
Whole Archbishop,
Whole, yes.
with such an influence and impact in the
Yes.
world. 2 days. Now you, the poor guy sitting at the village, it takes 3 months for you to be buried. I mean, what's the sense in
3
this?
months if you're lucky.
You know, there is something wrong that, let's put the youth aside. The youth can challenge that kind of thinking and say, we can do the same thing but do it in a more effective and efficient way. Why are Ghanaians not investing in other countries? Or why are we not investors in our own country?
In our own country.
Because we waste money like that, right? Instead of saying, we find a new idea, we got a child we sent to UCT in South Africa and he has come up with this brilliant idea through his research. 10 people in the family or in the country come together with their money that they could throw into a stupid funeral into supporting this young person with this idea to create a whole new industry in the country that can give millions of jobs. But what have we done? And what we keep on doing? Asante Hini's mother is dead and it took more than a year weeping, mourning, collecting money. Where did it go to?
And that's the thing. I think accountability is also something that we are struggling with as Ghana and as the continent of Africa. We don't like to be accountable. I'm not sure if there's a question there, but it's a realization that I've just had. We don't like to be accountable to anyone. Maybe we feel like it's a challenge to, why do I have to change what I'm doing because you don't like it?
Let me tell you something. We all know Rwanda.
What happened there, yes.
What happened there? And where are they now? The only African country that sponsored a British team.
Wow.
Right?
One of the biggest tourism industries
Industry.
on the African
The
continent.
neatest one of the
And it's
neatest,
half the
size of Ghana.
It's half the size of Ghana, the population and everything. It's all about the leadership helping to bring a change, to make an impact for the generation. Not looking at ourselves now. Looking at maybe 3 generations down the line. Look at Botswana. Botswana has also got the same philosophy. We in the position are not there for ourselves, for generations to come. So whatever they do, decisions they make, it's not for them today. It's for the great grandchildren that are coming. So the country is stable and they are going on development. Enough of money in the country. Rwanda, Botswana, these are just examples, right? We can do the same thing. Who has more gold than Ghana?
Cocoa.
And now
Timber.
oil.
Yes.
But you see, I mean, you say something which is I need to follow up on. I feel that sometimes what happens is the servant part of public service gets mistaken, and those that empower feel that those below that voted them into power need to serve them, as opposed to it being another way around. You know, that's, and I could be wrong, but that's my perception from the outside. It just seems like we are living to serve them. I mean, I was in Ghana recently and I'm looking at, we're all stuck in traffic trying to go. Next thing you see motorbikes and these big cars is coming in. All of us must stay and they must go because we are just, we don't have to go home.
You're not political enough.
We don't have to go home.
No,
we must wait. But I mean, it sounds all doom and gloom, but we've done well as a country. We really have done well as a country. But it will be it will be wrong of me to sit here and say we are there. We are far from there. I mean, I went there and it's always good to be home. Like you go to Ghana and you feel like you're home. See people with the same shape head as me. I'm like, I'm here. But I mean, I was walking through cantonments. Those catches that we have. One was just full of water, full. Mosquitoes flying around, people getting malaria. But this is cantonments. Now imagine where less well-off places.
Less affluent areas.
Exactly, that's the word I was looking for. Imagine less affluent areas. And people drive past this all the time and nothing changes, nothing gets fixed.